Danny, thank you so much for jumping on with us. We're really excited to be chatting with you about how the jam sessions judging process went. You were so closely involved, and obviously, you're a longstanding partner of Moises. And so we really appreciate your partnership as always and your involvement with this jam session. And of course, the last jam session with Corey Henry as well. But the latest with Charlie Puth is what we're talking about here. And maybe we can thread some kind of themes in from prior jam sessions as well. So thank you for being with us. Before we jump in, do you mind just quickly introducing yourself and how you have worked with Moises in the past?
Hi, I'm Danny Morris. I am a bass player, teacher, musician, family man, and a consultant with Moises. I love the app. I love what it does for the folks at the school where I teach, Berklee College of Music, and really any creative would get so much out of using Moises to work on their music. So it's great to be a part of Moises in general, and to be asked to help judge this competition and get to be turned on to young creatives of all ages, really, is just a joy for me. And in this particular one with Charlie Puth, Beat Yourself Up is a dynamite tune. I even got my bass out and I posted one. It's just so much fun. So yeah, pleasure to be with you, Sid, and to be a part of this whole jam session.
You're so authentically passionate about what you do, and you have such a relatable approach to teaching your students. And so, for so many obvious reasons, you're such an ideal person for us to have involved in a process like this. So
you just touched upon something. I felt like playing on the song because the song just knocked me out, and using Moises. There's a bass part on Beat Yourself Up that is just wonderful. Whoever's playing, I don't know their name, but it's just so exciting and popping and whatnot. That's not the style that I play. So after digesting the song, I mute the bass part, I do my Moises thing, and now I get my Fender Precision out, and now I do, a Danny Moe bass part on it. And you can't help yourself but to put your own personality into the music. And I think that was when discussing the criteria on how to judge these wonderful contestants, Moises is looking for originality, yet also to take Charlie's stems and the song and see what the contestant could do with that, what these young artists can do with the aesthetic. Like the whole definition of aesthetic is like beauty and music, but it's like there's an abstract quality to it too. And I think that's what you seek out in these jam sessions. That's what we're looking for. And I mean, I was, along with the other judges, I'm sure, blown away at the number of people who have so much to say on a cool tune like this. And I know Charlie's going to be blown away as well.
100%. And one of the questions I was going to ask you was what stood out to you most while reviewing submissions? You kind of hit on it just now in terms of the sort of authenticity, and how what I'm kind of taking from that is no two songs were the same. And it really is an opportunity for the contestants to take what's this incredible tune and make it their own and show their unique really identity through this collaborative process. Can you speak more about that and what stood out to you in the judging process?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we weren't looking for someone to mimic what Charlie did. We were looking for that originality. So, and it's just amazing how people work with the stems and with the arrangements. And there's even one contestant that used the compositional tool that I think is so poignant, modulation. They actually took the song and were going with it for a while. And then they went up. And then they went up again. Actually, only one person did that. And that knocked me out. Other people they took Charlie's stems and they reworked them. Some people changed the harmony. Some people changed the arrangements a little bit. It was it's like having a cupboard full of spices and taking 5 chefs. And they're going to make 5 different dishes. That's what we had with hundreds. Only how many contestants were there?
A lot. A lot more than 100.
And right, and there were salient points, I like to call them, in working with students. Things that stick out on each contestant's post, and then you add a video to it, which is what Moises was looking for as well, and that's a whole nother creative side that was illuminated by these people. So you combine audio and visual and changing things around and rework and making it your own. As you said, everybody puts their own stamp on it. That's what we were looking for, and we found them.
I love that. I love that analogy. I think that's such a good way to put it. And so, in line with the heartbeat of what makes this process so special and meaningful for us, as we roll out our jam sessions, and especially this one. What I'm curious, what criteria you personally prioritized when you were evaluating these submissions?
I'm going to tell you, but before I even go there, I had to digest the song. So I had to listen to Charlie's song. And of course, it's presented in Moises. And so we have all the stems. So, whenever I listen to a song, at first I just chill with it, just listen to it, have it playing, while I'm cleaning my room here, while we're doing the dishes, I just have it playing. Then my wife says, "Wow, what's that?" It's Charlie Puth. So, and then I could focus on, well, what's the drum stem? And it's just beautiful. What's Charlie's background vocals? There's some strings on here. There's some brass on there. There's 2 keyboard parts. There's this beautiful kind of single note rhythm guitar part. So I wanted to learn all those so that I could use the criteria to see the originality of all these contestants. If I didn't know what Charlie initially put out there, I wouldn't know if they were copying or they were doing something of their own. And, but, creativity, originality, and using Charlie's stems and working with them, and it's amazing. It always sounded like Beat Yourself Up, but the variety of changes that occurred, whew, it's like, I don't know when the term world music started. You remember, like, all of a sudden it just appeared, rock music, blah, 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 folk music, world music. That's what came back with all the posts, because there were people from all around the world who took a crack at this. And that's what made it so interesting. Oh my God, we have instruments from was it South Africa, Ghana, maybe? No, Africa. I forget exactly. We'll go back to that one. And people shining their personalities in there, and we're looking for that. I'm looking to be emotionally moved, driven by watching a post, and a post could be a minute and a half. And in that minute and a half, my life has changed for the better. Isn't that what music does to us? That's why we need it, and we're looking for people to engage the Moises app. You can tell if they're using it, as opposed to just eschewing it and just, doing their own thing. Oh, wow, Charlie has this nice melody and this nice verse and chorus, and now just going off. No, we're looking for people to integrate with the stems and see what they could do with them. And some people are so clever that you're like, oh my gosh, they took the horn line, they used it, but they augmented it, or they diminished it and truncated. All of these musical things that composers and creatives use. Man, these posts were full of them. Yes, that's a little bit of the criteria. But you know what? I think what comes, if you have a hierarchical list, you want to be moved by it.
When you compose your own song, sometimes you realize how many different directions it can go. And oftentimes it's sort of this almost ethereal experience of it takes this direction and it just feels right based on your lived experience, your unique way of looking at that piece. And to have this opportunity for other incredibly talented musicians come in and put their own spin on it is so powerful in terms of the human experience, because to your point, there's arguably nothing that connects us as humanity quite like music. And to have the ability to, it's just really truly so powerful. So I love the way you put that.
Yeah.
That ultimately the key criteria is was I moved by it.
And no two were alike.
Yeah, yeah,
No two were alike.
100%. Were there any common, you kind of spoke to this a little bit, but I still want to ask, were there any common traits that separated standout submissions from the rest?
Originality, and plenty of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love it.
As opposed to just a hint of nuance on Charlie's stems. We're talking some big, bold moves here, and it's so powerful. I'm looking forward to hearing what Charlie says about it. He's such a monster musician, but we have some monster contestants, and I think as I do a little bit of writing, Charlie Puth is a prolific songwriter. When he hears what people have done to his material, and as I said, alluded to before, they'll take this song, they'll take you to Africa, they'll take you to Puerto Rico, they'll take you all over the place. It's how the rhythm section changes, how the bass part changes, this and that. It's too much fun.
This is a sort of two for one, because obviously you naturally, given your relationship with your students and where you spend most of your time in the classroom, how, if at all, did you incorporate the jam session into your teaching with your students? And then part two of this question is, what value do you think experiences like this bring to music students today? And this is within the context of music students, and of course, this applies really to all contestants. But from your point of view and in your frame of reference, what value does this bring?
It brings extraordinary value. I mean, I'm currently on sabbatical from Berklee, so I'm not actually on campus every day, but I'm in touch with students still, nonetheless. And had I been on campus, I would bring, I have a couple of screens here. I have Charlie's stems right in front of me, and I would take apart what Charlie's done with the students and have the students talk about it. To communicate through a song is one thing. That's the song's complete. But for musicians like we do at Berklee College of Music, and Moises is all over Berklee College of Music, we talk about the creative process and how you build a track, how you build a song. You're a songwriter, so you do it all the time, and you might have just one idea that could be a pre-chorus, and so you have that, and then that will take you to other places. So we discuss how Charlie, who's just fantastic, worked a song like this, take the arrangement apart, but here I'm coming up with words. I like to ask the students in the classroom, what are you hearing?
Mm-hmm.
And from there, a conversation develops on the construction of a song, but beat yourself up. I mean, when you get that hook is in your head, and after you shut the song down, it's still in your head. How does that happen? And I feel like it's kind of like building a house, of which I'm not a builder, but that's what it is. You start with an idea, and you might design a few things, and then it all comes together. And now you start with the real building, and you put the foundation in, and the steel beams or whatever to support what's going to be on the next floor. If you're building a large building, I mean, it's piecemeal. And like I said, with all the tracks, here looking, as I said, guitar, drums, keys, piano, what is each instrument doing on its own? And then what's the matrix? What's the nexus? I love that word nexus. It means connecting. What's the nexus of all these tracks and ideas coming together? And all the other thing that I like to see in arrangements, getting back to, you say in the criteria, what knocked you out, is the journey of a song. A song doesn't necessarily start here and go like that. It has dips and curves and like what we sometimes in the New York Times they refer to this as like vicissitudes. They're like the dynamics. You're in business, Sid. The vicissitudes of the stock market. There's the vicissitudes of a song. They don't just go down. They don't just go up. They go up and down. And how Charlie created this song, I think that had an impact on the finalists. That's how we got there. And they did interesting things with, that's the good word, vicissitudes, with the dynamics of the song. And that's what really stands out to me on how to teach music, how to teach crafting songs. And I'm a bass player. So, but it's important. I feel like bass players are right down there in the foundation. Although on this song, on Charlie's stems, that bass part is very active and very exciting, and is just cooking through the whole thing.
So true.
Yet there are a few, and I'm looking at the stems. There's a few places where the bass line is tacit, as we say in music, taciturn, quiet. And then after that, it comes to life again. So that creates, every day we all have a variety of things happening to us. And who doesn't love just to chill for a minute?
And it makes it that much more meaningful when it makes its appearance in the case of the basses you're referring to.
Yeah, and you can see it. I'm just looking at the stems. It's like a piece of art. It really is.
I love the way you're putting this in terms of, the house building analogy. What better way to teach students how to compose and how to think creatively than to have a real world opportunity to build alongside a phenomenal piece and really tactically essentially analyze this song as they make it their own. And so you're forced in the process to break it down into its component parts with the stems, of course. And in so doing, you're listening at such a level of detail that even the most intentional musicians don't necessarily, it's when you hear a song, you hear the song, and there's you naturally, us musicians, we naturally dive deep into those details. But when you have the opportunity to really isolate those stems and listen and play it again and shift it, it's just a completely different ball game from a creative perspective.
Something as simple as and a number of contestants did it. They took the tempo down a bit. They slowed it down a bit. That changed the mood.
Yeah,
a couple of people might have picked it up.
Yeah,
just left it the same. That's just one of the many components that happen. And then and as I told you, one person did two modulations.
So to that point, let's talk a little bit about the winner, of course, and also some of the runners up. Let's start with the winner. What, in the end, from your perspective, because of course you were involved in, and we should have said this in the beginning, but your role in this judging process was you listened to how many songs?
Hundreds.
Right. So our team, of course, took the time to listen to every single submission, and there were many, thousands.
More than hundreds.
Right?
And they just sent us, the judges,
the narrowed down list. And so
narrowed down list. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's a team effort and a lot of songs. And so obviously we had to divide and conquer a bit. We narrowed it down to around 100. And so as you were listening to those songs, you then narrowed down the finalists for Charlie to ultimately select the winner. And so now, of course, now that we know who that winner is and you know who that winner is, talk about how you feel about that particular piece. From when we spoke before this, obviously there's alignment around that decision. So on your part, what really stood out to you on that song in particular, on that rendition in particular?
First impressions are powerful, and they only happen once. That's a phenomenon, right?
That's right.
So when I pushed this link, and I'm on my screen, I got my big headphones on, it just grabbed me. It grabbed me like no other. And if I have, let's say, it was like around 160, but I don't listen to 160 in one sitting. I burn out, I'll listen to around 15 and then and take a break, take a walk or something. I can't just listen to 160 right there. But when I hit the link, this just spoke to me. It spoke to me with verve, with excitement. It's usually like in literature, people, oh man, it's like panache or duende. There's all these adjectives to describe something that gets you. It's so soulful, it's beyond description. That's what this did in the first 5 seconds. And then from there, it proceeded. And, I formerly talked about dynamics, dips, ups and downs. That's real. And this contestant knew how to work your emotions to provide you with some entertainment, to provide you with some art. I used the word aesthetic before, which I think comes at when you add all the good stuff up, there's an aesthetic about it. And some of the stuff can be, I say good stuff, can be challenging. It can challenge your ear. It can challenge your attitude. And that's a good thing because it makes you think. And there was something about it that just knocked me out 110%. And also the level of musicianship with the various instruments that were going on, vocals being one, and tied together in a lovely package. Lovely is too polite of a word, but it's a beautiful word. But the video knocked me out as well. The whole presentation of it. And that has to be, I'm friends with a few movie and TV producers, actually, and it always comes up that you'll have one idea, and that idea has a beginning, middle, and an end. And then you move to another idea. And that's how people keep you engaged, say, when you're watching a movie or a TV show. Well, this person had a sense of that in the creation of their video, and they strung it together beautifully. And from beginning to end, it was a complete universe. Yeah, I really felt strongly about the winner. For those other, and it was narrowed down to 10 for the covers and 10 for the remix. Man, everybody had put so much time into their projects, trying to win it. I assume they were trying to win it. Other folks, and if they didn't win it, they got their stuff out there and it was seen and it was heard. And
Totally.
It's just like we're big tennis people, and in a singles match, someone wins and someone loses, but you don't lose. You get better and you participated, and it's just a part of your whole trip, your whole journey. So I feel like there were many, many winners.
Yeah,
I hope the contestants feel good about it, because as the judges, we sure were knocked out.
Yeah.
But you have to pick, someone has to win it. And I felt a very strong connection to how superior this winning post was. Yeah.
So cool. Are there any of the runners up submissions? Any submissions that stood out to you in particular? I know you mentioned a couple as we were speaking earlier that you want to speak more about in terms of how they stood out to you.
Sure. Earlier I was mentioning the term world music.
Mm-hmm.
So why does something come from this part of the world, come from that part of the world? It's there. Every part of the world has their folkloric music, but there are certain aspects of, if you're coming from this country or from that country, that are part of that folklore, and so the folklore ties it together with common sounds, but yet there's something distinct. And I felt that in the runners up, they took me on a world tour, as I said, and in a few different languages as well, and then with the instruments that were used, very very creative there. I mean, yeah, like this one, it was a wooden. It was maybe like a marimba, but it was this African instrument. It was outstanding, outstanding. Yeah, and then some people presented. This was very clever with the way the video. They're playing the guitar, then all of a sudden they're playing the bass, then all of a sudden they're playing drums, and then all of a sudden there's three of them singing. Come on, man, that doesn't happen overnight. First of all, to get to the level that you could perform that way on four different instruments, and have a sense of harmonically how your vocals are gonna. And Charlie Puth is just a wonderful vocalist. Let's just talk about that aspect. And so for people to take Charlie singing and then take the song and make it their own with the way they harmonized it, with the way they put the video together. I mean, Charlie has a video for this song. We all know it. We saw it. That's really cool with his background singers, and then the horn section comes in, and Charlie's got that red piano. I mean, it's just outrageous. So people did their own thing. They didn't just copy him. They did their own thing, and I love that.
I love it.
Yeah.
And I love that you're highlighting the world music element. Obviously, we're a global company. We've got 70 million users globally. And given, of course, that our team, the majority of our team is based in Brazil. Our founders are Brazilian. And you think, for example, samba is such a cherished genre in Brazilian culture, and it's really influenced through African, Portuguese, indigenous South American cultures. And so that's so core to who we are as a company, to again give an opportunity for these musicians from all around the world to highlight their instruments and their language and their culture. And I just love the way you highlight that, because that's so meaningful for us.
Yeah, that's a great tie-in. No, it's so true. And to see the joy in people's faces as they're performing.
Totally.
Yeah. Some monster musicians. And a monster musician doesn't mean that you just have to play fast.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's monster in the character. And I'm using monster in the best possible way.
I love the term. I think it actually highlights so well.
There was a lot of that. Or to see this one person, he was one of the finalists. There was four of them, of the same person, sitting at four desks, and they opened up different ideas, and they kind of built the song from scratch on the intro, and then maybe Charlie's horn section came in. I'm remembering. So cool. I have with all the 160 that I looked at. I mean, I have images of many. There were a bunch of trumpet players before I played bass. Sid, I was a trumpet player right up into college. Did I ever tell you that?
I think that rings a bell. I think we might have talked about it.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I mean, there was this one cat from London, I think. How do I know that? These two guys, and he was playing trumpet, and then this little keyboard. I mean, just a knockout. Many of them I could see the videos in my head. So, if you have the gift of sight and you can see that, that's indelible. But let's say you're visually impaired. The music speaks. The music speaks and tells a story, and you can have a vision. I know you can. And so, yeah, there was a lot of storytelling going on.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you another question or two, because we're running up on time, and just to sort of tie this all in. What excites you most about where this series could go in the future?
I think I remember seeing one person from the previous lot, Corey Henry from that, and now with Charlie. I remember seeing one person's post and I liked their post. I liked their post with the Corey Henry. I liked this one. But aside from that, all new people, all brand new people. So if we got 1,000 or more than 1,000 submissions, and then it was scrunched down to around 160, and then we scrunched it down to 20, and then 3, and then a winner, man, there's a lot of creative. So I see, if Corey Henry is one kind of artist. Corey Henry is an original. Charlie Puth is an original. And I think they're somewhat genre specific. I somewhat don't like putting, it's like at the bowling alley, you put those bumpers up so the balls hit the. I don't like necessarily typecasting this or that is with a name, but so be it. I think you can diversify into other. I'm going to use it here. I'm saying I don't want to use the word. Other genres of music can open up to see what our subscribers are doing with Moises. That's really what it comes down to. People can take a song and rework it in a variety of ways. We had this with Charlie, and look at all the submissions from around the world.
Let me ask too. I'm so glad that you mentioned Corey Henry, because I wanted to make sure we gave a quick nod to the last jam sessions winner. Yeah. We need to talk about this for a second. This was really special for so many reasons. And when I found out who the winner was, I think I may have been the one that told you, because I just went, oh my gosh, Danny, you got to hear this. Yeah. But let's talk about who won with Corey Henry.
Oh, and I remember the submission.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought, oh come on, this is it.
this was beyond special.
The reasons we were talking about.
Yep.
And the big one is it moves you.
So Joshua Meredith
is at Berklee, right?
And he's an incoming Berklee student, a freshman. And I mean, it's such a cool story. We could spend a whole other interview on that topic alone.
I told you I'm on sabbatical, so I'm not in Boston. But is he there now, or is coming in September?
I think he's coming in September.
Yeah,
although he may be starting. Yeah, I think that's right. But gosh, I mean, it was really moving and almost emotional for a lot of us on the team, because he was able to dedicate a portion of his winnings to paying for his first, to his tuition and room and board. And so that was just such an awesome byproduct of this outcome. But just the fact that a student, an incoming freshman, won the whole thing. I mean, come on, so cool.
And what's cool about that young man is I went to Instagram and checked out his account, once he won, and I saw all these posts, and I clicked on it, and he's a drummer primarily, okay, but he does this thing where song of the day, as it says, song of the day, and then he sits down at the piano and he plays chords, melody, and sings song of the day. So here you're meeting this person as a drummer, as a phenomenal drummer. Beautiful drummer. And look at how this drummer is preparing to study the language of music. There's no better way to, I've had many lessons and wonderful teachers my whole life. I'm still a student primarily, but I am also a teacher. And that I feel like that is the way to study music, through songs. You know?
100%.
Yeah, and this guy, he has song of the day, and in a variety of styles. Here's the Donny Hathaway. Here's the Dionne Warwick. Blah, blah, blah. And he's on the piano, melody and chords. So everybody should play a polyphonic instrument. You play guitar, I play piano, and I'm a bass player. As
Absolutely.
a way to learn, and yeah, I really. Josh, right? Is his name?
Josh
Yeah.
Meredith.
Well, I look forward to being back at Berklee in September and playing some music with Josh.
100%. I mean, it was special actually too. I'll just quickly share. We were at NAMM this past January, and Josh and his dad attended our event that we put on with Corey Henry. And I had a chance to say hi to Josh and his dad. And had his dad been beaming anymore, I may have gone blind. I've said this to some folks. It was just really, he was so proud, and it was so incredible. And it just so happened that I was standing next to a handful of Berklee professors when Josh came over. And so I was like, this is just a meant to be moment. And so we all said hello, and they were, it was really special. So I'm excited for you to meet him.
Looking forward to it.
You've got to run. Final words, any advice for musicians or students who want to participate in future jam sessions?
I would say be original, be yourself, and listen to the music. What, Doobie Brothers, right? Listen to the music, digest the music like you're having a really nice meal, and take it in slow. And then contemplate, how can I do something to this that's going to let my personality, my nuance, my aesthetic come through. And that's what we're looking for as we reviewed the criteria that we've outlined to judge who the winner is going to be. That's what they're presenting to us. The creativity, the originality, the musicality, the uniqueness, and taking advantage of what Moises can give you with the stems, with the composition, and playing with it. I mean, some of that, now I'm thinking of some of the remixes, knock me out. And now I'm cranking it through speakers. I mean, just you want to get the real effect. And the other bonus is it introduces us, and that's everybody who's on the internet, to new artists. What a great way to get yourself out there.
No kidding.
So it's bringing, the competition is bringing people together.
So true.
Earlier
So true.
I said in a tennis match, in a singles match, someone's going to win, someone's going to lose. This, I feel, it's a competition, but it's a win-win.
Absolutely. Yep. I mean, that community piece is so important to us. And so, mic drop moment right there, Danny. Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure. And I look forward to whatever's in store for the future. And, this is always close by. So we got it. Great to see you.
Always good to see you, Danny. We really appreciate you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Okay. Take care.
Yeah.